Chapter 6, Encounters. Generally speaking, this little green area up here has to do with encounters. Game gets started by you drawing your first new encounter, so you would come over here to the Draw New Encounter button and give it a click. Of course, the deck count will decrease by 1 card, and your day counter will increase by 1 as well. So now we're on day 1 of the 9 days that we have in order to defeat Molmesh. Of course, the first 3 encounters will always be the first 3 special encounters, the starting encounters, as you might expect. And as usual, right-click the card to flip it, to see the backside, click it, left-click it to close it or clear it from the screen. Now, once you draw a new encounter and you actually have a current encounter that you're working with, you can always return to the card by just clicking this large button here. It'll remind you of what encounter you're currently on, and if you click the button, you'll display the card again. And generally, by default, it's going to display now the back side of the card with all the instructions. But if you want to see the story again, just right-click to flip. And we have other choices as well. We can view the past encounters. Of course, we've only drawn 1 so far, so we'll see leaving Omundar in the list. But as we draw on new and more encounters, the list, of course, will grow longer. You can click an entry here to view the card again. Right-click or escape to close this list. We can shuffle the encounter deck if for some reason you're instructed to do so, or you want to do that. That will shuffle the body of the encounter deck. It shouldn't disturb the first 3 special encounters. There's a button here to add a new encounter if you're instructed to add a special encounter like the Ebonite Doorway or Molnor Traders. This is where you would come. Now, you've got to proceed with caution here because this button actually gives you the entire list of all encounters, including the solo encounters, the general encounters, and the special encounters. So you can really mess with your game here if you decide to add an encounter to your deck that really doesn't belong there. But just to make things complete, I've given you the entire list. If you just want to sort of kind of view it and just see basically get a feel for all the various cards that are in the, what is that? Oh, this is one of the promos, this particular card. Anyhow, right-click or escape to clear this. These buttons, this button allows you to reshuffle the current encounter back into the deck. This one allows you to draw a new encounter and then reshuffle the current encounter into the deck. This one moves the Tyrant encounter to the top. The View Baddie Stacks button technically doesn't have to do with encounters at all, but I just stuck it in there. And I will talk more about viewing the Baddie Stacks in the next video. As long as we're up in this area, however, let me briefly talk about the Tyrant you're facing, in this case Molmesh. Left-click to view the card enlarged. Right-click on the card to see the backside. And this lock button, if you're curious, has to do with the fact that the double-sided cards by default in my program automatically are locked on the screen. That means that if you move the mouse around the screen, you're not going to clear this large card from the display. You actually have to physically click it to make the large card go away. But if you hit L on your keyboard, if you uncheck this lock button down here, and then move your mouse off the card, it's going to go away. But never fear, when you click it again, it remembers to lock the card by default because it's double-sided. However, if you ever view a single-sided card, and that'll be the case when we're viewing loot cards, for instance, then those will not be locked by default. But you can always check the lock button or press L to lock the card on the screen. And I think that pretty much does it for this video. Come back for Chapter 7. Thanks.